by bringing you your expanded lunchbox love. Breaking news, we have word from the court. The verdict is in. We couldn't get live coverage of this trial. Apparently, it was too sensitive. We can see the concern on the judge's face as the prosecutor makes his opening statements.
Your Honor, we plan to prove that the defendant allows her hypersensitivity to beat herself up and to be so afraid of rejection. She doesn't even try to reach her potential and is easily hurt by the lack of empathy of others even when it doesn't pertain to her. Bright lights, loud sounds, sudden sounds. We plan to prove without a doubt this is a crippling crime.
From what we've gathered, the defense plainly said their defense is nobody would want the defendant any other way. We received word that Miss Smurfette was the prosecutor's first witness, and she had to be asked to put her flower down.
Miss Ed, is it true you met the defendant at IHOP? And did this defendant immediately notice you were sad? How often have you personally witnessed this to happen with other bunnies? And isn't it true she will stop whatever she's doing to try to raise the vibration? Just answer the question, ma'am. Isn't it true other bunnies' problems should be their own? Just answer the question. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Miss Ed testified in cross that bunnies need bunnies, and that's all the defense needed. We also heard testimony from Miss Cabbage Patch.
Miss Patch, can you tell the court where you met the defendant? And at this conference, did she stay until after midnight answering questions? And is it true that she was so tired she slept in her car until the next morning? And did the defendant look disheveled and disoriented?
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Miss Patch, do you feel that the defendant should have just gone home and not stay and answer questions if it was so exhausting for her? Just answer the question, Miss Patch. That's all I have, Your Honor.
And the defense fought back with a solid cross. Miss Patch, in the night in question, isn't it true that the defendant dissolved many misconceptions about mental disorders?
Objection. Lady.
Overruled. You may answer the question. And isn't it true that if the defendant wasn't highly sensitive, she would have just left without caring? That's all I have, Your Honor. We'll be right back after these sensitive messages. Lunchbox love. We all thought the judge might grant an acquittal, but after we received this short clip, we see that's a no-go.
Court is back in session. All rise.
You may be seated. Now we've had a brief recess to Lunchbox Love and Thumbs Up. I have reviewed the testimonies. I can see how HSP can cause some disruptions in the time-space conundrum. That the defendant's HSP causes her to feel too deeply and too much, recognizing others' discomfort almost to the level of her own self-detriment. And even I am curious to see how Mr. 2 plans on proving how this can help humanity. There will be no acquittal. The trial will proceed. The defense attorney called Mr. Wise out. He testified that the defendant feels happiness more than a bunny without HSP, and that HSP helps guide the defendant away from potentially draining bunnies with her non-judgmental intuition and sensitivity, and that HSP is what actually encourages her creativity. Mr. One cross-examined and tried to prove that the hyper part of the sensitivity is what was overkill. Let's go to that footage.
Well, isn't it true that the defendant gets so happy sometimes that she has to be told to chill out? And isn't it true that she gets so excited when good things happen to other bunnies that she can't stop complimenting them? And isn't it true that she will sacrifice time and money without a thought and go out of her way to overuse "I love you"? No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, we're going to take a short recess so I may review the new evidence. And let's take a moment to push that thumbs up and leave a comment. Court will resume right after this pouring out of hearts. Lunchbox love. Breaking news, we hear they're untrapping butterfly. Let's go live to the courthouse right now. We're live outside the courthouse. We have the prosecutor here. Mr. One, can we get a brief statement?
Oh, yes. Untrapped butterfly may have flown the coop on this one, but give it a week and I'm sure we'll be back in here. I filed the complaint for people pleasing.
Why, thank you, Mr. One. What's that? We have breaking news. The footage of the judge's ruling. Let's go to that footage now. Okay, after reviewing the evidence and taking all sides into consideration, I believe I'm ready to make my ruling. HSB, also known as being a highly sensitive bunny, resulting in high sensory processing, does mean that loud sounds or crowded places may cause more exhaustion. Or being highly sensitive to the emotions of others can cause a challenge, but does benefit humanity as a whole. If the defendant was not exactly who she is, well, she wouldn't be heard, and there would be no need of a trial. I rule in favor of the HSB. Quality, not crime. Virtue, not disruption. I will, however, place this defendant on lifebation. The terms of her probation are to obtain balance of the sensitivity, because we cannot pour from an empty cup. You are hereby sentenced to lifebation. You are to get enough sleep, eat clean, plan and execute daily a decompression time just for you. Surround yourself with healthy bunnies and nature. Do not beat yourself up, and you will need to obtain noise-reducing headphones to use even when your device is dead. LOL means lots of love to me. Remember, only you can judge you. And don't do you dirty. Do you right. Because I love, love, love you. Hugmungus, hugmungus, hugmungus hugs. And to the meanie heads, you can kiss my wings. Texas style.